Alright gang, welcome to Hansens Speed Shop. Before we get started here today, just want to remind everybody, if you're not already a subscriber to Hansens Speed Shop, hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all the cool stuff that we're doing here on YouTube. But today we're going to be getting started on this project 1966 Schwinn Stingray. If you're not familiar, I got this thing a while ago, not too long ago, maybe like a month or so, and it was just an eBay find, and we're going to be turning it into basically a clone of early like 64 style Stingray. Now the 64s did not come in black, but I've always thought it would be cool to have a early Stingray in black. This was original black paint. This was not an original Stingray. This was like a Typhoon or a Skipper, but it's basically the same shorty style frame as the 63 and 64s. It has had some touch up done on it, but it still has the majority of its original paint on it. And then we're also going to be doing this as kind of like the ultimate kids hot rod bike from back in the 60s. So like the ultimate muscle bike from like 64, everything that you could have done like cool accessory wise, with the exception of we're not putting a wheelie bar on this because I can't afford one, but everything else that would have been cool as far as like little accessory things that you could have done back in the mid 60s, we're going to be doing that on this bike. So it should be a super cool bike. We're going to be doing this whole build series, going through putting this whole thing together. But today we're starting with our front wheel. We're going to go through the whole front wheel, and then we're going to go through our headset, check that all out, and then possibly put our stem and bars on. So here is the front wheel that came with this bike. It's an original Schwinn S7 front wheel. So we're going to use this. The tire that's on here, I'm not sure yet if we're going to use it or not. It is a little dry rotted, but I'm not positive yet if we're going to use that or not. I do like this tread pattern on here, so I'm not sure. I want to definitely put a brick tire up front. Got a little bit of a dent in the fender, in the rim right here, but that's okay because this bike does have a little bit of patina to it. It's not perfect, and it'll match everything just fine. It came with two front axles, this one is a little bit rougher, but I'm going to check. All these axles have date codes on them, so let's see if this one, see if I can see this on camera. So this one looks like a 64 axle. So since I'll check this one out, but since we are doing a replica basically of a 64, maybe we will go with this axle. But we're going to clean our bearings up, clean our inner races up, clean up the bearing races in the wheel, get this all greased, put back together, and then decide what we're going to do with our front wheel. And then we're going to tear this whole headset apart, check our bearings out, and re-grease everything, put that all back together, and we can put our stem and bars on. So we're gonna, since every time I get one of these old bikes, I don't really know, if somebody else put it together or if it's never been torn apart. I usually like to just go through everything on them, check the inner tubes, check all the bearings, make sure everything's greased, make sure everything's tight. That way I know everything's the way it should be and everything's good to go. I just don't trust, buying stuff and then having to go back and redo everything anyway. So, but we're going to start off with this wheel. So, the way I clean these bearings up is usually just kind of like some brake clean or some carb cleaner, polish them up a little with some like 00 steel wool, and we'll do the same with all these parts. And then I usually just wipe this out, get all the old grease out, polish the inside of this with some 00 steel wool. put it all back together. You want to get your inner, so this is your adjuster for your bearings right here, and then it has this lock nut on it, but this adjusts the tension on the bearings. You want to get this in the wheel so you don't have any side to side movement. You want just a hair, like a thousandths or two of movement, because if you get it too tight where you start crushing your bearings, the wheel's gonna not want to turn, or this will be so tight that it won't turn at all. You don't want that. So you do want a little bit of movement, but the least amount possible, and still have the wheel spin freely. And that kind of goes the same when you're doing your headset. So this right here, this top race is what's gonna determine your bearing tension on this headset. Very simple. You got two bearing cups. There's a bearing here, and there's a race on the fork. You got your top cup of another bearing, this top race, and then you've got basically this nut on top of here, and that's pretty much it. So super simple, but we'll get this cleaned up. I'll show you guys what that looks like, and then we'll get that thrown into the wheel. All right guys, so I got the axle all cleaned, I got our bearings greased and got it back in. That's all looking good. We got the tire off. It's always nice to take, if you get a wheel with a tire on it, and even if you're planning on reusing that tire, still just take it off. Just make sure you have a rim strip on here. And then I always just cheap insurance, get some new inner tubes. You can get a box of these like at Walmart for not that much money. And then we're going to be putting a new tire on. It's just like a repop cheapy brick tire up front. Also, I always use this Finish Line premium grease. This is specially designed for bicycles, and I've been using it for like 20 plus years, and it's my favorite grease to use on the bearings. So we'll get this tire thrown on here, and then next we're going to dig into that headset. All right guys, so we got our front wheel on. I dug into the headset, re-greased that. We put our stem on. These are 1964, or excuse me, 63 to 65 style handlebars that we got on here. And then I got these really cool slimline Schwinn black with black sparkles. Super cool. They're gonna look really awesome on here. That's what we're gonna be running for grips. So I'll throw those on, and then we'll take one more look at it. Alright guys, so that's going to do it for this time. We basically got the whole front part of the bike taken care of. I think next time we're going to maybe dig into the bottom bracket, make sure the bearings in there are all greased properly, and then we'll do another video on putting our seat posts. We're going to swap out that seat clamp, put our solo pole seat and sissy bar on. And then we're also going to swap out that kickstand on here for our chrome one. And then the last thing we're going to be doing is converting the back wheel to a mag style accessory back wheel. And then we'll also add the finishing touches with the cool little accessories on this bike. So until next time guys, get out, work on your own projects, get those hands dirty and greasy, stay cool, and we'll catch you cats on the next one. Thanks for watching.